doesn't have a data link is sort of a crime, and we're trying to fix that.
Additional questions?
I'd like to ask a question about irregular warfare. I'd like to suggest that it's broader than just aircraft opportunities. If you read Max Boot's book, The Savage Wars of Peace, we've really been doing irregular warfare for about 200 years. It seems like in the reserves we have a great opportunity, and as the General mentioned earlier, partnering with allied forces or other countries, as well as across the joint spectrum, to use our support side of the reserve structure, whether it's the medical community, our logistics, our various support elements, to provide various types of what some would call, support to humanitarian operations, support to local countries that need assistance in various aspects of their development, how we can use our forces in that capability. Could anyone like to address that?
Hey, that's a great point. And you'll find, if you look at the Air Force strategy and you look at the operating concept, you'll find that agile combat support has a predominant place in those documents, to include our doctrine. We have Air Force IW doctrine, was it 2-3, I believe. So there is an opportunity, and you'll find that the folks that work in CAFT and CAPTF are doing that every day. My own personal experience in theater, I saw the same thing. This is a piece that the you'll find that the I believe the reserve and the guard bring a dimension, particularly with their civilian employment. The chief talked about this in his speech at the 24 April Brookings Institute meeting about that dimension that the guard and the reserve bring. But the agile combat support is certainly a key piece. And when we talk about developing the air piece in these countries, it isn't just about air power. It's looking at how we can use how we can help develop the civil piece in providing that stability and the economic stimulus. So it's a holistic strategy, but the agile combat support is a big part of that.
I think I can add a little bit into that also with a concrete example of where reservists are doing just that today. We have a division in my office called the direct support element that frequently makes trips into theater, and lately they've been supporting the provincial reconstruction teams over there. And just as Charlie was saying, and just as the General said, we're bringing that civilian expertise that they have, National Reconnaissance Office, day job, reservist night job, to go out there and help those teams get the situational awareness they need for their own cities and their own villages with mapping data, et cetera, products. So we send teams out in the country, they work with them, say, what do you need to do your job? And then we actually refurbished 200 computers that the Air Force was getting rid of, took them over there, put mapping software, and distributed them out to the reconstruction teams.
I thought that also was an excellent point from the gentleman who asked the question, that it certainly is not platform specific. However, General Schwartz recently discussed the emerging irregular warfare light strike platform, and apparently it came up at the recent Corona Top meeting as well. Any thoughts at all on the need, the requirement, the affordability, and what this, in a little more detail on what this could look like?
I will tell you that there is an analysis of alternatives underway right now, sponsored by Air Combat Command, to look at the light strike capability, and we're going to be agnostic about platforms here. determine whether there is a legitimate requirement, what that requirement is, and it's not just focused on light strike. We're looking at rotary capability, looking at lift capability. So this is a study to determine what capabilities are required in an irregular warfare environment. Light strike is one of those capabilities.
Yeah, there is some congressional intent there. I think there was a mark of 1 or 2 million last year and 9 million this year to look at a light strike out of Tucson. Not to mention the platform, because again, it is not important, but we have a light strike fighter showing up on our ramp, and all the things that we've integrated into the F-16 and A-10 in the last 10 years, we're going to integrate into this aircraft as just a model on how to do this. So when the Air Force decides on a platform, we could put all these, the helmets, the targeting pods, the NVG systems, all the SATCOM radios, the multi-freak radios, the center displays, all this. So when we do pick a platform, we're ready to go and we can integrate all this stuff.
Excuse me. We have time for more questions from the audience. Please.
I'm Chris Shepard from Northrop Grumman. My question, probably mainly for Wizard, but open it to the whole panel. With regard to the irregular warfare, a lot of discussions have been brought up, EOIR sensors, comms, and so forth. What is the test center doing in particular to prepare for the electronic warfare environment, and how it will affect our RF systems, how it will affect our comm systems, and so forth, especially as it relates to the 4th gen platforms?
Well, to stay in the classification of this room, probably for the last 5 or 6 years, most of the upgrades that we put into the A-10 and the F-16 have been for that irregular warfare piece. The comm systems, the data links, a lot of our also, we're working not just with airplanes, with our dismounted JTACs, the Guardian Angel piece, giving them mobile data links and other systems that we can talk back and forth. But, you know, eventually this is going to end, and we do have to make sure that we are ready for the electronic warfare piece. Luckily, at least for us in the reserve out at the test center, we're a CTF for electronic combat. So we take electronic combat concepts from initial integration all the way through fielding, and we have a couple of pretty modern concepts going in. We have some vast updates to the ALQ-131 ECM pod that look extremely promising that we've been flying. A lot of the jamming that we're seeing in theater, well, we're jamming ourselves, but obviously it's affecting all of our comm and data links. It's teaching us a whole lot. It's sort of ironic, you know, that we're jamming ourselves and learning about really what real effective jamming is, because we are very effective at jamming. And we are starting to look at a lot of our systems and realize that, you know, these data links are great, but if the link is gone, then what? So we do have some programs that we're looking at, and we've started a little bit of some Tiger Team analysis on how we can fight through that jamming, and that's probably as far as I'll get to in the comm and the data link regime, because we are seeing some really good jamming right now.
Sir, this is a broader question just for the panel. TFI is obviously alive and well, and we're moving strongly in that direction. We're going to an active association for different units, and yet we're still not lead MATCHCOM for any of the 313 aircraft that we own. When you look at that kind of in the context of CNGR's operational vision and how it's supposed to be seamless between the Guard, Reserve, and active component, I was wondering what role the active component may play in the modernization of the reserve aircraft.
Okay. I hope I didn't give the impression that, and I'm sure I did give this impression, that the active duty Air Force has just cut us off completely and they do not modernize our airplane. And that really isn't true. I mean, they are involved to a fairly great extent.